Hey, Shuvimo here. Today we'll be talking about Hu Tao and her constellations. Looking at it at a free-to-play way, C1 is truly the furthest you'll really go. Therefore, the question for today's video, is C1 Hu Tao really worth it? With the Hu Tao rerun coming up soon in like a week or so, now is a good time to ask, is C1 Hu Tao really worth it? Especially if you already have Hu Tao and might think of getting her primary weapon, the Staff of HOMA. HOMA, but yeah. As a Hu Tao main and sim, I can truly say that C1 is definitely worth it. With hindsight, I would say getting C1 would have been a better option overall than getting Staff of HOMA. I can say even at C1, Hu Tao is so easy to use, she can do so much damage, and you really don't need to worry about any content in the game. And even though I would say I use like her wrong, she still does a lot of damage. I would say I use the wrong set overall for the type of way I use Hu Tao, that if you have C1, she would even do a lot more damage overall. As you can see, I already have Staff of HOMA. I gambled it all last time when it was available. I still have shivers thinking about it to this day. But to be honest, people overthink how important weapons are in this game, how important 5 stars are to this game. People think the extra attack she gets, or like how much more attack it gets on the weapons, is a great addition, but in my opinion, it's just overrated. The amount of money you need to spend to get the weapon in the first place, for the chance to get it, and even more for Refinement 5, is quite a gamble. Staff of HOMA, let's just talk about it for a second. To use it properly and efficiently, you would need to play Hu Tao on a fine line, so that you don't get one-shot by stronger mobs in the game. You would basically need to play Hu Tao just below the 50% HP mark, which I would say, as I'm not the best of players, it is quite a difficult task to do so, especially when you're trying to focus on different stuff in Abyss, like the mobs or AoE happening all over the place. So basically, during Abyss or in just overall content, my Hu Tao is usually sitting around near to max HP whenever I use her, which is not that good for my Staff of HOMA. And even when I'm not using her properly, or as I should really be to maximize her damage, she really just demolishes all the content in the game. Everything that's shown in the game can be easily destroyed. So yeah, however, even though I don't have C1 Hu Tao at this moment, I can confidently say this just shows how vital to Hu Tao C1 is in the first place. With it, you're able to much easily do more damage and demolish all content in the game. However, if we look at it from a proper factual point of view, her C1 truly doesn't actually change how much damage she does. It really only depends on how well you use her. The more efficiently you use her, the more you'll realize how much of a blessing C1 truly is for her. As when you use her properly, doing like the charge cancellations, you'll feel the cap of not having enough stamina. Therefore, being able to utilize the extra stamina you save from the charge attacks from C1 is truly a great addition to how you can use her and her kit. Therefore, let's just get back into the main question. Should you get C1 Hu Tao or Staff of HOMA? It really depends on how efficiently you want to use her. For me, if I had hindsight for the first time Hu Tao came out, or even now, I would recommend still go for C1 Hu Tao overall, compared to trying to get her weapon, the Staff of HOMA. Even if you use 4-star weapons, if you use the right artifact sets such as Shimenawa or Crimson, you can still definitely get Hu Tao to a great level of damage, or even more than if you had Hu Tao's weapon. As I animation cancel her charge attacks throughout her E all the time, I truly just feel the limit whenever I use her, which can be easily mitigated by getting C1 Hu Tao, like double the damage, probably losing every E 500k damage overall, which could save me 20-30 seconds on the Abyss, or even more. It just makes her a much playable character, and you wouldn't have to focus on so much. This is just even more shown if you weren't, because if you weren't limited by the stamina, you'd be able to animation cancel your charge attacks without really paying attention. So in the overall terms, the lack of Staff of HOMA really doesn't matter anymore, because if you're doing more charge attacks every E, overall you're doing more damage, dealing more damage to the enemies. Therefore, it really doesn't matter getting her signature weapon in the first place. And I see people using 4-star weapons doing 50k Vate per charged attack. So, if this video has said anything, unless you really think you are already in a position, go for it. Go get that Staff of HOMA. But, I would say personally, C1 is one of the best constellations, if not the best, you can get for this character. It completely changes how she plays and how much damage she does overall. Anyways, this was Shuvimo, and I'll see you next time.